Questions to the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr President. My question without notice is to the Leader of the Government. Minister for Resources, Minister for Energy and Utilities and Minister for the Arts. Minister, why has Liddell Power Station been granted an exemption from New South Wales air pollution regulations and allowed to emit toxic nitrogen oxide at a rate which is double that allowed at comparable power stations in this state? He also represents
everywhere. Nothing escapes.
It is still in his report.
Raining yesterday.
As there was a little bit of interchange across the chamber, Mr President, just before I got up to speak, and the Honourable Adam Searle is indeed right. I do represent the Minister for the Environment in this place. The other interjection was about the fact that it was a matter for the Minister for the Environment, and I think it's not sure if it was from this side of the chamber who said this, Mr President, but they were right too. This is a matter, in fact, for the independent regulator, the New South Wales Environment Protection Authority and the Minister for the Environment. I'm advised that the New South Wales Protection of the Environment Operations Clean Air Regulation includes a provision to improve the operation and associated emission limits of older plants over time so that they meet emission limits that are applicable to new plants. The provision has regard to what is technically and physically feasible at an individual plant. The licence limit for oxides of nitrogen from Liddell Power Station was set following an application for an exemption that was supported by detailed assessment information. This information was reviewed by the EPA, which found the risk of adverse impacts to be low. I'm advised that the licence limit is an improvement on the previous licence limit. As part of the exemption, the EPA required the power station AGL to investigate the feasibility of additional controls for the power station under a pollution reduction program. AGL has submitted its report to the EPA. The EPA is considering the report as part of its implementation of recommendations from its detailed review of power station emissions and monitoring that was published in March 2018. This will not affect New South Wales generators' ability to continue to provide electricity to New South Wales customers, which of course is absolutely important, because a secure and reliable supply is one of my key objectives, and that is also accompanied by a desire to get the most affordable supply possible, and also the cleanest supply possible. The energy trilemma, Mr President, is a difficult one to deal with. But by not having the Liddell Power Station in the equation right now, we would not have more affordable power prices. We saw what happened to power prices when the Northern Power Station in South Australia shut, and when the Hazelwood Power Station in Victoria shut, Mr President. There was upward pressure on prices as a result. We need the Liddell Power Station to keep providing power. But I'm delighted that there are plans that are in place to replace Liddell should Liddell shut, as announced by AGL in 2022. And Mr President, it is important to ensure that if Liddell shuts in 2022, that there is enough reliable supply of power in the absence of Liddell. And the key, as the Australian Energy Market Operator has said, is to dispatchability and dispatchability. The Federal Minister is focused on, and it's something that I'm focused on as well. Without doubt, the neg is the key, and that's my principal focus, because then we'll get the investment we need.
Mr President. Order. Last warning to the Honourable Short